like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, where I'm not saying 2 hours pop, but it couldn't just be one.
Well, I mean, and that would have been great. It's just they kind of, they kind of screwed the pooch with the second one. And given today's movie market, Ghostbusters 2 is actually a brilliant movie comparatively. But at the time, it was kind of like a stretch, and I can see now why maybe Bill Murray doesn't want to do anything anymore, because like anything they do past the first one is only going to hurt the first one.
Well, not only that, Bill Murray's kind of moved on to a different, not really a different style. Bill Murray's always done Bill Murray. But the movies have changed, where it's no longer Caddyshack or Groundhog Day. Like, he's in The Life Aquatic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more of a cerebral comedy, a thinking comedy, instead of slapstick. Or not even slapstick, situation. It's more... I can't think of the word, but you've seen those movies, haven't you?
Yeah, well, they're more like witty.
Yeah.
That's the type of humor I prefer, as opposed to the slapstick. And I really just kind of, I get so confused as I get older, because as I get older, sometimes I find myself laughing at slapstick a little bit more. I get mad at myself.
Yeah.
But I think there's kind of like I don't know, it's like, there's a charm to the way people have wit when they do witty humor.
Yeah.
And it's implied. Because what I love about that is it gives the audience credit as an intelligent life form, that they can figure out the joke.
Well, for me, here's the way I see it, and maybe this is the way you see it. And I've thought a lot about comedy. But I see it more being... slapstick is funny one time.
Interesting. Elaborate.
You can't watch a slapstick comedy thing like the Three Stooges.
Mm-hmm.
The joke is funny the first time I saw it, but then I can't rewatch the same movie or the same episode or whatever it is they did.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've already seen it. I know what happens, so it's not going to amuse me. Watching Jackass, it's funny one time. Because the shock value's gone.
Yeah.
Whereas a movie like The Life Aquatic or Rushmore or The Royal Tenenbaums. I'm trying to think of another one that was really good. The Darjeeling Limited. You have to think about these movies, and you have to think about the jokes and what's going on, and you always come up with something new as you watch. Every time you watch, you come across something you miss.
Yeah.
Grand Budapest Hotel, that's another one that I like a lot.
I think another good example would be like Napoleon Dynamite, where I know it's not necessarily as, thought-provoking as some of these other comedies.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I watched Napoleon Dynamite, I forget how old I was, but I was at least a little bit out of high school, I think. And I just didn't get it. Like, I did not understand that humor whatsoever. But then, I don't know what it was that, after a while you just kind of get it, and it's like it's this very passive, very relaxed, laid back type of silly humor.
Yeah.
And I love that stuff now. It's like, that's basically the whole Why Did Ask For was founded out of this other group. I don't want to say founded, but they're like, we spawned off of this group called the Dark Brotherhood, which that's pretty much all they're about, is making these really random, like, comments that are just nonsense for nonsense sake.
Yeah, and it's... I don't know if anyone's listened to any of the current episodes of Why Did Ask For?
Oh, of course they have. They're going to listen to it right now.
Yeah. But,
After
I mean...
finishing some stuff. Anyway, go ahead.
There's a lot of stuff that people will say, like the one that sticks out the most in my head, and it will for all time, is when we were talking about something, Canada having claimed the ocean or something like that. And my answer was the Earth is a circle.
Uh-huh.
And just something that's going to be funny to me forever, is because it's wrong on so many levels, but at the same time it's right.
Well, I was reading, or rather, I was watching this one video called TED Ed. I don't know if you've ever seen those videos. And
yes, I like the TED videos.
Yeah, and one of them was like about comedy, and it talked about how comedy isn't something that you can define because it's rooted out of the concept of defining something the wrong way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's my best interpretation of how it meant it, and it's so true. It's because it's finding the little quirky things that people do or say, and basically just like pushing that to an extreme.
Yeah, and I can see that. I mean, jokes are crude and unexpected, and I can't explain what's funny, but I know what's funny. And it's, you know, you take things from society in which you live and you make them, you take relevant things and you make people laugh.
Yeah, like things that you do every day that, I mean, it's kind of like trying to fix a microwave with a rubber chicken.
Yeah.
Maybe
or like
bad.
how we've made our Pornhub jokes a couple of times.
Well, who says they're jokes?
I'm trying to... But it's just one of those things where it's something that, for better or for worse, depending on how you look at it, is relevant in society. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna bash you for going there. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say you should go there. Mm-hmm. That's your own decision. But it's something we can make fun of.
Well, I mean, but that's the whole thing. And another thing about comedy is just, and this is just my opinion, I'm no expert on it, I've never taken any real classes, but I think people take themselves way too seriously, and then they can't figure out why it is they can't be funny. I think in order to be able to make fun of something else effectively, in a sincerely funny way, you have to be able to make fun of yourself and be okay with that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying in a detrimental way. You don't make fun of yourself because you don't like yourself, but like you said earlier, if you're secure in who you are, then you don't really care.
Yeah. And, you know, I'll say things where someone will be like, oh, you shouldn't talk that way about yourself. You know, I'm not saying it because I'm down on myself. I'm saying it because, hey, I screwed up, or I can't do that.
Yeah.
And I acknowledge that, and it makes me, I guess, in a way, it makes me stronger.
Well, I mean, it just makes you more human. I mean,
more self-actualized. I don't know what the right word is.
I think we've gotten to a point in society where it's like it's bad to make mistakes again. I mean, dear God, probably some of the best movies ever made was, you know, good stuff happened by mistake. But
well, it's like there was a movie made in El Paso in the 60s, I think, called Manos, the Hands of Fate. Worst movie ever made. Production value, everything. I mean, it is literally a bad movie. It's so bad, it's good. It's a cult classic. It has a following. And it just goes to show you one of the guys that starred in the movie was so embarrassed by it, he killed himself.
Are you kidding me? Really?
Yeah, and it's kind of like, you know what, dude? Yeah, you made a shit movie, but look at all the people that get enjoyment out of it.
Exactly.
And look at this following you have now. But yeah, you made a shit movie. I'm not gonna deny that. That movie was shit. But I own it, and I enjoy it. I'll watch it once a year.
Well, I mean, see, that's the thing about people is that they kind of, and I feel like real people who are sincerely honest with themselves, they realize that the whole human like experience is fundamentally based off of being flawed.
Yeah.
So even when you see a person, like the best example would be 80s, you know, music videos. You know, at the time they used to think that
was fucking amazing.
Yeah, they thought, oh, this is cool. Oh man, it's gonna be so awesome to, like, they had this thing called Kung Fury, which they just made a parody of, I guess, 80s video.
Yeah.
And it stars David Hasselhoff, and he sings during it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I have never laughed so hard in my entire life.
Yeah. And it's like parody. I think parody's hilarious. I think one of my favorite movies is Spaceballs. And it's a parody of Star Wars.
There you go.
And it's just the way it's done. It's really funny. Sure, it has a lot of like stupid jokes. Like, we have to comb the desert, and it has two guys walking through the desert with a giant comb. Yeah, that's a stupid ass joke, but it's funny. And I can only laugh at it once because I know it's coming.
I know that there's a. I think this is what I need here. It's been so long since I played this game that I can't remember what items I'm supposed to use to fight off certain enemies. Doggone it.
Well, Pat, I beat it.
You beat the library?
No, I was trying to make a joke.
Oh, you beat the game.
I was making a joke. It was like, well, Pat, I beat the game. We're done. Sorry, guys. There's no video proof of me doing it. I somehow made up 2 hours with work in 20 minutes.
Oh, almost. Come on, you.
Done.
Oh, did it? Oh, it finished. Thank God.
Here is a Bill Murray quote, and I don't know why I didn't look up at my poster beforehand. Staring me right in the face, but it really goes into what we're talking about in an off kind of way. It's like a poster of Bill Murray holding a little tiny camera, and the quote says, "I try to be available for life to happen to me."
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's I like that. It's not. It's him saying, "Hey, I don't get so wrapped up into stuff to where I think I can enjoy what's happening around me."
Yep.
I think we need to keep an eye.
And I think that makes him the most dangerous man in the world.
I mean, we really need to keep an eye on him.
Because he's not so wrapped up into something that he forgets.
Exactly. And then he doesn't take life so seriously. I mean, you think about it, life, if a person takes life too seriously, like, I know there's people that grow up and thank God they want to become doctors and they want to become lawyers and accountants, and man, for the work they do, they deserve the money. I give them kudos. But if I had to live a life that was based all around stress and despair and sadness and textbooks and stuff, I don't think I could. I don't think I could do that. I prefer to play stupid, silly video games and have a little side career on the side.
Yeah, and if I could find a way to make my side stuff my money-making stuff, I'll have unlocked the secrets to life.
Catastrophic exodus of the city does not count.
There you go. There you go.
Now, I was really upset. I used to have this thing called a Rickrom, I think.
A Rickrom?
I can't remember the name. But basically, it was a Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis all into one.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And I've lost it.
No.
So what I'm gonna have to do is buy a new one.
It's a mandala.
What was the name of that thing?
And then we'll make videos out of that thing.
Yeah, and
that'd be good.
It'll be, instead of Let's Play, it'll be called Watch Me Play.
It's called Let's Try. We'll try to play these games like we used to. Well, Mr. Tip, I think this is a good spot for us to go ahead.
Retron, that's what it's called.
There you go. I remember. Yeah, I think you showed me that once. It's like a red console sort of thing.
Yeah. And when I moved from San Antonio to Dallas, it's got lost.
Wow.
Oh damn. Well, I mean, you could probably find it.
Oh yeah.
Well, anyway, I think we should probably start wrapping up here. That way we can call it a quits, and I can get this video up going.
Yep, and
But-
I can stop yawning.
We'll pick up from here. The next the next part of this game should be pretty fun to film when we get to it, because I can't stand it. It freaks me out. It's the Hotel Cedric, where you have to fight the
spiders.
spider lady or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I've had nightmares about that part of the game, and as cool as it is to have a nightmare about Ghostbusters, because you get to hang out with Egon. Egon's protecting me. It's still like, no, I don't want this. I want it. So,
Patrick, do you have a crush on Egon?
Harold Ramis? Absolutely.